Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Swerdlow.
And this is the Expansions News Podcast for the third week in February 2015.
That's right, you're getting ready to go.
I'm actually not here right now.
You're not?
No.
No, I did a good job of manifesting you, didn't I?
Yeah, this is actually, I have come back from the future, and I'm not really here right now.
That's true, you are an established time traveler.
Yes, I'm somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean at this moment, or maybe in Europe.
Yes, well that's the strength of my mind patterns, actually manifested you here.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. You should come to our classes and learn these techniques, it's amazing.
So why don't you manifest some other stuff I need?
Okay, well, I'm working on it.
All right.
But anyways, since you're not here, I went ahead and put together some stories.
Don't pay attention to me, I'm just an illusion.
Yes, but I put together some stories, so if you, Mr. Stewart Illusion, would give us your take on some of these, I would appreciate it, all right?
I'll try to transfer my consciousness from wherever I am at the moment.
All right, do your best. All right, for the first thing I wanted to announce, now, of course, we all know about ISIS. How can you not know about ISIS? The U.S.
I like ISIS in the summer when it's hot.
The U.S. has a plan now to counteract ISIS via social media. Now, isn't that the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of?
You could be ISIS friend on Facebook?
Well, apparently it says that ISIS has apps, social media accounts, and video production teams to tout its messages. And the U.S. is behind, in their ability, I guess, to counteract that. Now, if we wrote something inflammatory on Facebook, they would have us shut down in like 2 seconds.
We'd be gone in 2 minutes.
That's right. So, for some reason, they can't, they can't figure out how to stop ISIS on social media, so they're going to do their own anti-ISIS campaign on social media.
Here's the thing. Somebody's funding them.
Exactly.
And on UK Mail, it said they showed a fleet. ISIS was showing a fleet of brand new police cars that they got. Who bought that for them?
Yeah, and where'd they get that?
Who sold it
to them? That's my question. Now listen to this. There is, it says the U.S. has a Center for Strategic Counterterrorism Communications, which I didn't know about.
That's a lot.
Which Obama established back in 2011. Well, of course, he wants to increase the funding. Why not? And he wants to put them in charge of coordinating all the different counter-messaging efforts by the U.S. government, foreign governments, and NGOs. And then it says that the center has been criticized for its online efforts, and SITE Intelligences, I don't know what SITE stands for.
SITE?
The director wrote in Time magazine that the tactic of trolling is embarrassing, and this outreach by the U.S. government is not only ineffective, but also provides jihadists with a stage to voice their arguments, regularly engaging in petty disputes.
The key word there is ineffective, and that's the whole government.
But listen to me, what you focus on grows. So allowing this on social media, in my opinion, is trying to drum up a lot of hatred and foster things that don't belong. And with that in mind, now this last week there was a summit where Obama was hoping to broaden the world approach to extremism. Homeland Security, which I can't get used to that term.
That's the same as Gestapo.
Yep. Secretary Jay Johnson said that, quote, they have the ability to reach into our communities and attempt to recruit and inspire individuals who may turn toward violence right here in the homeland.
Yeah, it was on the CNN today that ISIS isn't so dangerous, but what's here in the U.S. is more dangerous.
That's right. And now it says U.S. military action so far has been proven the wrong tool to combat a robust social media and propaganda operation. Again, they're going back to that. Whose success at recruiting fighters and jihadists from Western communities like Denver and Chicago has been alarmingly impressive. I don't think so. Anyway, Obama wrote in an op-ed article Wednesday in the LA Times that the world has to offer today's youth something better.
Yeah, you know what he said?
What?
That the way to defeat ISIS is give them jobs.
And there's also other news people saying that, which is ridiculous. And now ISIS might be harvesting organs, Iraq tells the UN. Now, again, I'm going to pose this question. Who's buying the body parts?
True, and who's taking them out?
That's right.
They're not just, ragtag, Bedouins out there. ISIS is a sophisticated government-backed organization, military unit that was created by the Illuminati and the governments. This is not just springing up from nowhere.
You can't just harvest body organs. You know, you can't do that. And it also reminds me, remember the albinism story I also reported on?
Yeah.
Apparently, I forgot to put this in there, but I want to throw this out there. I read that Puerto Rico actually has an extremely high albinism rate as well. And I don't read anything there about people buying those body parts. But in Africa, that's where they're buying the body parts. And all this stuff is who's doing it and who's buying. Because you have to have
wealthy
money.
People.
Yes. Now listen to this. Did you read about this one? Sudan's president claims that the CIA and Mossad stand behind ISIS and Boko Haram. Haram. Omar al-Bashir says that, quote, there is no Muslim who would carry out such acts. Okay?
I believe him.
Not true Muslims, they're not going to. Apparently, Omar al-Bashir used an interview with Euronews to claim there was a connection between the American and Israeli intelligence organizations and both extremist groups. Then it says his remarks come after the leader of Lebanon's Hezbollah group claimed that the CIA and Israel's Mossad are behind the extremist group, according to the Associated Press. And then in January, here's a name for you.
Mile Gökçek.
The mayor of the Turkish city of Ankara claimed Mossad was involved in the Charlie Hebdo massacre in Paris, committed supposedly by Islam militants.
Yeah, because it was right after that Netanyahu told all the Jewish Europeans to come to Israel.
Now tell me what your take is on that, because people are asking about that.
Because first of all, nobody wants to go to Israel. It's more dangerous than ISIS.
So why would he make that call for Jews to return?
Because he's looking to bolster. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because the Arab population of Israel is growing faster than the Jewish population, and so in 5-10 years, it's going to be a Muslim country.
So do you think people will actually go?
A few.
But not
the dopey ones will
not
go.
In droves, like they make it
No,
sound.
I mean, like when they pick up and leave your business, your home, your family, your friends, and just after you've been there for like 1,000 years and just leave. That's stupid.
Well, that's what I think. Anyway, back to the president of Sudan. He challenges a report by a group called the Human Rights Watch that claimed more than 200 women and girls were raped by Sudanese troops in an assault on the North Darfur town of Tabit, which the group said happened on October 30th. Remember, this is the same thing which I have talked about Boko Haram for a long time, saying it's not happened. And again, I'm going to go back to Jonathan Goodluck's wife, who said it never happened, and then we never heard from her again.
I like that name, Jonathan Goodluck.
Me too. Anyway.
Oh, no, his name is Goodluck Jonathan.
Goodluck Jonathan, you're right. Okay.
He's the president of Nigeria.
He said that he dismissed the report as, quote, a radio news item from Radio Dabanga, which is hostile to us and opposition-run and Israeli-funded.
I believe it.
So anyway, here we have more people who are there watching it saying things are going on. And as we know, Turkey is not backing the U.S. on their moves against ISIS.
The President Erdogan, who's the head of Turkey, he has in his head that he's the new Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. So he's a little loony-toony to begin with.
Well, but who knows what's going to happen now about this. But listen to this. Now, I think, again, they've been reading your stuff because...
You think?
Because now there's a NASA scientist and climatologist named John Casey that says that there are going to be food riots, mass deaths, and super earthquakes beginning 2015 due to extreme cold 30-year period.
Well, I've said that many years.
Yeah, but there's going to be more than a 30-year period of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you want to hear something hilarious? On AccuWeather.com, it said that U.S. actually was having a warm winter.
No, they're not living here.
Have they looked out the window or stuck their hand out?
Okay, well, obviously they're not reading your stuff,
No,
but
it's
this guy
is. It's a bunch of malarkey crap that they want people to believe.
This guy, who's a former space shuttle engineer and NASA consultant, is out with a new book called Dark Winter, How the Sun is Causing a 30-Year Cold Spell.
Yeah.
With more than 30 years, though, don't you think?
Oh, it'll be more than that.
Which
warns, like a long term.
Yes, which warns that a radical shift in global climate is underway, which you've been telling people for years, and that Al Gore and other environmentalists have it completely wrong.
On purpose, they do it on purpose.
That's right. The Earth, he says, is cooling and cooling fast. He says all you have to do is trust the natural cycles and follow the facts, and that lead you to the inevitable conclusion that the sun controls the climate and that a new cold era has begun. Now he says, and this is the same thing you've been saying, he says for more than a decade that planet's oceans have been cooling. You've been saying that, right? And since 2007, the atmospheric temperature has been cooling as well. So listen to this one. I showed you those pictures, I think, of the winter scene of hail in southern part of Quito. Remember, the people were digging out the hail?
Oh, in Quito, Ecuador.
Ecuador.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's in the middle of summer. And they're calling that an apocalyptic hailstorm.
Well, there's a big snowstorm right now in Turkey and Israel and Lebanon and Syria.
And is that usual for this time of year?
Not like this.
Not like this?
No.
Okay, well this one is...
This is already the springtime.
Yeah, this is an apocalyptic hailstorm. And then there was another headline which caught my attention. And they said it's biblical. Severe wind, cold, and latest East Coast snowstorms. So again, they're putting all this new world religion into people's minds. Okay, moving along from the weather. Unless you have something else to add to the weather.
Well, just that I had to shovel snow in -30 this morning.
It was very cold out. Did you know that Utah now has approved executions by firing squad?
That's Utah.
That's Utah, yeah. Well, I just think that's interesting because, again, that's old ways of doing things. Here's a new way, believe it or not. Apple says that they're going to start producing electric cars by 2020.
I've heard that for the last 30 years.
They said that Tesla Motors and General Motors are working on new designs for electric vehicles that can travel more than 200 miles on a single charge. They're going to supposedly, these ones will be ready by 2017 and be about 40,000 each.
I could go more than that on a single charge.
I bet you could. And then, in a little bit more of the bizarro side of the news, there is a woman, Naomi Kisner. Now this comes from the Hadassah College in Jerusalem, who's designing jewelry that embeds in a person's veins.
How so?
It's a like a pin. It has 2 pins on each side, and
you stick it in your veins.
One in each side of your vein, and then your blood runs through it and makes it turn and do all kinds of things.
Why the heck would anyone want to do that?
She's calling it a practical energy source, but a discussion piece on our addiction to the world of declining resources.
Okay, she needs to get a dog.
She needs something
and
else.
stop playing around with this kind of crap.
Yeah, I agree. And then, now here's something which I also found interesting. They're going to have the first plus-size model to be featured in Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Oh yeah, that'll go over big.
She's a size 14. Well, she's naked, you know, and they've got her curves. They show these
Trust
guys.
me, no one's going to buy it.
Well, they've got these guys, you know, they're imprinting people.
I'm telling you.
Because they want everybody, regardless of size, to be naked because of New World religion. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. And then, now this was the most interesting article I found of all. And this comes from Scotland.
Scotland?
That's right.
It's a wee story, then.
Yeah, now I have reported on this before, but it's getting more detailed about a named person's role to start before a child's birth. Now, a named person apparently is going to be, this is what they're wanting. It's not
yes,
passed
our friends
yet.
in Scotland have told us.
Yeah, they are wanting in the 3rd trimester, the last trimester of pregnancy, they want legislation that covers children from the day they're born until the age of 18, and this named person will be named in this 3rd trimester. So when the child is born, there will be a person who's supposed to follow them until they're 18 years old.
Yeah.
And of course, that would be chosen by the state.
So what happens to the parents?
Well, that's a big concern about people who are, you know, poor parents. Now, they're saying apparently there was a trial in the Highlands, and they said that people loved it.
In the Highlands?
In the Highlands, but who knows
if
they really loved it. It's called the Children and Young People Act 2014 will see every Scottish child allocated a named person, usually a health worker up to the age of 5, followed by a teacher. Now, the teachers are upset because they said that they're already overworked. They don't know how to do this. And what would happen if something happens to the child? What's their legal responsibility? So the teachers are up in arms over this. However, it says the Educational Institute for Scotland agrees with the principle of a named person to provide a single contact point as a means to enhance children's access to services and support. There's a person named Colin Hart who's a spokesman for, it's called No to Named Person, N-O-2-N-P, No to Named Person, who says that this law undermines parents and stretches already limited resources.
That's true.
Parents will become helpless spectators in the lives of their children.
I'd leave Scotland.
And that will start in the mother's womb as state control is extended here.
I think they should have gone independent.
Now
They should have voted independence.
What do you tell us about voting?
Well, they should have revolutionized.
Well, there's going to be an issue because, you know, every country, like I tell you, they're experimenting with different groups of people to see what will work, and then that will be part of the global control.
Scotland made a big mistake last year when they voted to stay in the yuck.
They don't have a choice. What happens when people vote?
Nothing, because they don't vote.
What do you tell them about what happens with the voting machines?
They're not plugged in, and you have a better result pressing the lever on your toilet
That's
bowl.
right. So, you know, it's not about them making decisions. It's about whoever is testing things out there to see what the decisions are. Anyway, there are a lot of questions going on about this, but they're obviously pushing that way. And again, it's part of the destruction of the family, and it's, you know, it's happening. So that is my last story.
Well, nothing about poop or anything like that. Well, that's good.
No, unless you want to talk about it.
No, I don't.
Okay, good. So I know that your flight is probably in progress. It's probably about getting ready to land.
Probably. I might even be there already.
And I want to be sure that you're back in your body by the time that it actually lands. All right?
Maybe you should have a named person to watch over.
That's a very good idea. They could travel. We could shrink them down, make them small. They could live in your backpack or your pocket or
Well, I
something.
already have one of those. Leprechaun. I have a leprechaun.
Well, that comes from Ireland. You need like an elf from Iceland.
I need an elf to do my freaking driveway.
All right. Well, you need to speak to the king of the elves then.
Well, he's in
Let's
Utah.
get a named person to watch over people who live in the snow area, and they can shovel for that person. I think that would be better legislation.
I did not want to go out this morning and do that.
Didn't.
I did not.
No.
It's like, where are my elves?
They've got to arrive soon.
It was
I know.
so cold.
It was very cold. All right. With that said, any other last words?
Well, I'm just so glad the U.S. is having a warm winter.
Yeah, me too. There you go.
Jeez.
That's right. All right, with that said, again, we want to wish you a safe landing.
Thank you. I'm there already, probably.
Yeah, probably. And we look forward to hearing from you while you're gone.
Yeah, maybe.
So be sure and send lots of pictures for posting on your Facebook page.
Yeah. Maybe.
All right, so
Do
take
they have
care.
to have clothing on?
Well, the elves could be naked.
Oh, the midgets, the naked midgets. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm Janet Swerdlow, and of course, the Strength of My Mind pattern has manifested.
The invisible, non-existent Stewart and Janet Swerdlow.
And we'll speak soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye.